You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Are you serious? I mean, come on. Back-to-back nights in completely different fashions, but two of the best Tigers games of the year. Tonight, it's a walk-off winner, and Kerry Carpenter is not human. Third home run in 2 games since returning from the IL. Man, we've got a lot to talk about on this live Locked On Tigers postcast. Welcome one, welcome all. I'm your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. And woo, a walk-off victory for the Tigers. They've taken the first 2 against the Seattle Mariners. We'll get into Kerry Carpenter and the walk-off hit from Akil Baddoo. I'll say something nice about Akil Baddoo. And how about a series win? The Tigers go for the sweep tomorrow. But first and foremost, a sincere thank you for making Locked On Tigers postcast your destination following the final out, or nights like tonight when it's a memorable walk-off. There's no final out. There's just a final ice bath for Akil Baddoo and whoever wins it for the Tigers. And tonight, it was a dramatic finish. And whatever happens down the stretch, we thank you for making Locked On Tigers postcast your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube, which is your friendly reminder, Locked On Sports Detroit. Subscribe. We got to get those subscriber numbers up. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And hey, how about a huge shout out to today's sponsor? This episode of Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. That's right. The easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports is on Prize Picks. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Find out for yourself. And while you're there, use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's Locked On MLB at prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. First deposit match up to $100. All right, I gotta admit, and this is where Jake was wrong, where Jake comes clean and is fully transparent. I had this one chalked up as a shutout. I was being negative on Twitter, X, whatever we want to call it, because it is just so typical 2024 Tigers for the offense to explode and then 24 hours later be completely lifeless. And for 7 innings, that's exactly what it was. I mean, I don't remember the exact pitch count, but through 7 innings, I think the Tigers were held scoreless. And I'll double check on the box score here, because the starting pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, Bryan, was just mowing down this Tigers team. 7 innings, allowed just 4 hits, and there it is, 85 pitches in 7 innings, and the Tigers were completely scoreless. Turn the page to the 8th inning, and oh yeah, he's a bad man, ladies and gentlemen. He is back in the Tigers lineup. That's Kerry Bond's 3rd home run in 2 days. Just an absolute, no doubt about her, moonshot. Mistake was made in the middle of the zone, middle. You're not getting that ball back when Kerry Carpenter is at the plate. He goes yard, 2-run shot to tie the game at 2. And then there we go to the 10th inning. And this is where I put it on Twitter. And maybe I hope you could hear the, I guess, joking around and humor in my voice when I'm tweeting this. But Tyler Holton's just amazing. I mean, he gets the win tonight, 5-1. But he goes out there in the 10th and not only does he strand the runner at second, but he just makes quick work of the Seattle Mariners in the 10th. And the top half of the 10th resulted in a strikeout, and then an easy fly ball to right field to end the inning. And that's how you get your home team back in the dugout. And I hate the ghost rule or the whatever we want to call it, runner on second. I say it at length. It's like a broken record at this point, but I think a lot of baseball purists can't stand the ghost runner at second. But in this case, okay, it helped the Tigers get the victory because you got a runner on second. And credit to Justin Henry Malloy. And depending on what transpired in that 10th inning, I did want to have a little spirited debate here on the Locked On Tigers postcast, something we don't often do, but with runners at first and second after Malloy drew the walk, then you had Zach McKinstry trying to bunt lefty on righty, and that was an interesting call because lefties had so much more success against Snyder, the pitcher for the Mariners, and McKinstry just, without sounding like a jerk, he just failed miserably. 3 foul balls and he's out. Now you have 1 out, still runners at first and second. Obviously, the job was not done to get that runner to third with less than 2 outs, but never fear, Akil Baddoo. And I've been very critical of Akil Baddoo. So this is, like I said, got it out of the way early in the episode, said something nice about Akil Baddoo, a shot to center field for the game-winning walk-off double, whatever. I don't know how I think technically it goes down in the scorebook as a single there. But in the box score says Baddoo double to center, and Parker Meadows scores for the Tigers win. And back-to-back nights where you end the game feeling awesome about your team. There's life breathed back into this team, and I look no further than Kerry Carpenter. And maybe that's a very simplistic take, if you will. I'm not diving into the X's and O's and the analytics of anything. It's since Kerry Carpenter's been back in the lineup, this is a new team. And I know it's only 2 games, but I'll pump the brakes a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, my goodness, the Tigers missed him so much. And I know that points out the obvious, but we'll break everything down tonight because, like I said, I do want to get into that 10th inning a little bit more because it ultimately worked out. But there were some people there always is people on both sides of the aisle with, do you give up an out in the form of a bunt with runners at first and second and nobody out, trying to get that runner to third with less than 2 outs? Or do you play it, especially as a left-hander? It just takes him, but you have runners at first and second, so you have to consider the double play option as well. Just a lot to consider. And I see the comment box filling up as we speak. So let's get into that as well. And we got to give some credit to this bullpen. It was a bullpen day. And I also had that in my notes prior to the 8th inning that, once again, it's a bullpen day that goes out and does their job, but the offense couldn't do anything to result in a win. And obviously I was wrong because that all changed with Kerry Carpenter's 2-run blast and then Akil Baddoo's game-winning double. But let's get to those comments. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate you tuning in. As always, Locked On Sports Detroit. And that's what we love about this post-game space. We're live, we're ready to get into it, and we want to have your voice heard on the Locked On Sports Detroit platform here, all part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. And of course, this is the Locked On Tigers postcast. So we start with Darth Twerk. Wow. Dennis Tydick says, go Tigers. Maritime Adam says, wow, nice win tonight. Kerry Bonds is unreal. Akil Baddoo keeps adding cool surprises this week. I really thought we were going to get shut out. Woo was impressive. Yeah, I think that covers just about everything, Adam. I think that's the end of the show. We got it all covered. No, I kid, but that's exactly right. Those first 7 innings, I'm watching it thinking, okay, somebody's got to do something and not look like a little leaguer up there. But those first 7 innings, not so fast, wasn't happening. YouTube user, thanks to Bryan Salmons, another of his solid efforts out of the bullpen tonight. Yes, that was on the initial rundown before everything changed. And I don't know if anybody needs to or really cares about my initial rundown before everything changed. That's the way athletics works. It's unpredictable. You got to adapt and everything. But I had that in my notes as one of the few positives tonight is how good he was out of the bullpen. And in, I don't want to say a tough spot, but in a bullpen day, which we're all used to seeing, there has to be a guy that takes the game by the reins and just puts out and eats up innings. And that's exactly what Bryan Salmons did. 5 2/3, just 2 hits, did give up the 1 run, but struck out 4. What a day for him. That's a good point there as well. All right, Darth Work. Why do we suck at bunting so much? It seems like an MLB hitter should be able to bunt fairly well. I think that's been a tale as old as time for whatever reason with the Tigers, and I don't have the numbers or statistics to back it up, so you can tune me out if you like. But I remember watching as a kid my grandfather getting so upset because the Tigers couldn't lay down a bunt, and that's just such a fundamentally it's an important fundamental that you just have to be able to do as a big league baseball player. And I can remember being at Comerica Park with my brothers and grandpa, he slamming his head. Big league baseball player doesn't know how to bunt. Big league baseball player can't lay down a bunt. So I feel like that's been going on for some time. But yeah, it's it is a lot. All right, lots more comments to get into. And yes, shout out Tyler Holton. Enough said. I put it on Twitter. We pray to thee, man. Tyler Holton has been so good. Got to get one in for the realist, Demetrius McNeil. Kerry Carpenter just sent the Tigers to a sweep of the Mariners if they win Game 3 tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, day baseball tomorrow. We love day baseball. You all have permission to skip work. You know how the rules go around here on the Locked On Tigers postcast. But don't go anywhere. It was another exciting win for the Detroit Tigers. Walk-off fashion. And my goodness, we've got more to talk about. We'll look ahead to that day game tomorrow and continue to break it down. This is the Locked On Tigers postcast. Hey, Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Liquid IV. That's right, 20% off at liquidiv.com when you use that code MLB. Now, here's why you want to use Liquid IV. Better hydration, better overall health and wellness, better overall performance. It's great. I use it for the gym all the time. You know, sometimes you have one too many adult pops and you got to get back in the gym, get on that treadmill, whatever it is, maybe the weights, that's your thing. Either way, the better the hydration level you're at, the better your performance, the better your workout. Liquid IV can help with that. Or maybe it's just a hot day, you know, wherever you may be. It's August, for goodness sakes, people. Maybe you got your youngsters playing some high school football. You got the two-a-days, although nowadays everything is so soft. You can't even have two-a-days. But Liquid IV will help with the hydration. And oh yeah, they've got some awesome flavors as well. Because when you're taking in America's pastime, you can't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Blast off with the iconic summer flavor of Popsicle Firecracker, a festive blend of citrus-fueled lemon lime, tart cherry, raspberry flavors. It's making me thirsty as we speak. You can find all your favorites on the website at liquidiv.com. That's right. All you have to do is tear, pour, live more, one stick plus a 16 ounce of water hydrates better than water alone. It's that easy, my friends. So no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com. That's liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's right, liquidiv.com. Use code MLB at checkout. 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. I'll say it to you one more time because there's a lot of letters going on. So you know what? You tune me out. That's fine. Here's all you need to know. Better Hydration using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. That's right, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. You should know by now is Prize Picks. Prize Picks has it all, my friends, and there is nothing better than Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com and use that code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. It's real simple with Prize Picks. You set your lineup, pick more or less on a player stat projection, 2 to 6 player stat projection, and watch the money roll on in. Prize Picks is available in over 30 states. It's easy to use. And join the Prize Picks community. I mean, my goodness, add a little sizzle to your viewing experience with Prize Picks. I enjoy the promotions on Tuesdays. That's right. On Tuesdays, Prize Picks lets you reset your lineup. And on Fridays, too, you got to check those promotions as well because Prize Picks has got it all going on for you. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you check out Prize Picks. All right, prizepicks.com. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. It's America's most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Join the PrizePicks community today at prizepicks.com. Use that code LOCKEDONMLB. Download the app as well. PrizePicks. You pick more, you pick less. It's that easy. All right, we closed it out. No, we continue. We're not closing it out yet. The night is still young. That's right. The night is still young, my friends. Just because we had a walk-off hit does not mean we are closing up shop early. Also, happy birthday to Colt Keith. That was mentioned on the broadcast a couple of times. I got to make sure I know exactly where we are because a lot of comments and a lot of people want to get in on the action, which we appreciate. Jugatarian, a regular, appreciate you signing in and subscribing to Locked On Sports Detroit, bringing out the brooms tomorrow. Let's hope. It'll likely be another bullpen day for the Detroit Tigers because that's how it goes. Bryce Miller for the Mariners, 1 o'clock first pitch. I also thought it was worth noting that, and it's a great point by Born Cool, that we got out of the 50-pitch eighth, only giving up 1 run. I put that in my notes, and I want to talk about that eighth inning because, again, I had a whole list of notes ready to go if things progressed and continued and the Tigers lost 2-0. Thankfully for Kerry Carpenter, they did not. But Born Cool and I are on the exact same page right here because the way that eighth inning played out, it was a sloppy top half of the eighth inning. The wild pitch on the strikeout, Will Vest throwing over to third, and I don't blame Will Vest. I think they had the runner dead to rights, but Urshela's footwork was off a little bit. The throw took him kind of the wrong side, and it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault, but I don't think anybody didn't execute that well, I guess is what, pointing out the obvious, we'd say. And if Will Vest could do it all over again, he probably takes that out at first to at least get 1 out. And I know the runner moves up to third, especially, again, when you had him dead to rights. But fact of the matter is, a poorly executed play defensively between Will Vest and Gio Urshela resulted in the mishap and an out not being recorded at all. And then you had the eighth inning took a while because then it was Rodriguez. Actually, I thought he was hurt, and I guess it's a good thing. You'd never want to root for injury or anything, but Jose Rodriguez had injured Julio Rodriguez, had injured the ankle earlier in the season, and then he goes down momentarily, and you're thinking, oh boy. And to his credit, I mean, he gets back in the box and gets a single, but that was the only run that the Tigers gave up in that long eighth inning. Because if you look at the play-by-play, the Mariners sent seven guys to the plate and only the 1 run on 1 hit. So it was just a really long, drawn out eighth inning, but credit to Shelby Miller to come in and get the strikeout of Rallied to limit that damage, because at that point there was still a runner on third with less than 2 outs, and you get the strikeout of Rallied and then the fly out to right to end the inning. So again, that helped keep it at bay, because based on the way the offense was playing, obviously a 2-run lead felt insurmountable, but we have Kerry Carpenter for that. So, but point being, yes, great job by the bullpen altogether. And Kerry Carpenter is going to get the headline, and rightfully so. Akil Baddoo with the walk-off double, but you don't win that game without the collective concerted effort from the bullpen. All right, Darth Trick, I told my friend I wouldn't even pinch hit Baddoo for Javi right before he hit the game-winning double. Yeah, the lefty matchup, credit to A.J. Hinch, and I need to do a better job of this because we're all critical of A.J. Hinch when he makes the wrong move, but he punched the right buttons there with the Akil Baddoo bat, because I mentioned it with the McKinstry bunting. That's why it was kind of, I wouldn't say the wrong move. It panned out to be the wrong move to have McKinstry bunt. But the righty-lefty split against Snyder, the pitcher for the Mariners, was just so heavily in favor of the lefties, and that's why you wanted to give a lefty an opportunity there between McKinstry. Obviously, you take the bat out of his hands with the bunt, but Baddoo makes it right with the pinch hit double and the win for the Tigers. All right, still lots to get into, a lot of comments, and we appreciate that. Right here on Locked On Sports Detroit. It's always a pleasure to be on the air with you. And we thank you for making Locked On Sports Detroit and Locked On Tigers postcast your first listen. But for your second listen, you got to check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs here in the dog days of summer. So prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB. It's all available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Okay, let's take a quick pause, and we're going to keep the lights on as we do on Locked On Sports Detroit and close it out and look ahead to tomorrow's day game. That's right. We don't have to wait 24 hours to hang out. We've got a day game, and we talk about it next on the Locked On Tigers postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Ibotta. That's right. What is Ibotta? Well, we'll start from the top. It's real simple. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back. Did I mention it's free? Every time you shop, you earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. So let's use some examples. Sandals, sunscreen, snacks, groceries, beauty supplies. What do these all have in common? Yeah, that's right. You're probably buying them, and not just once, you're buying them often, especially this summer, but don't stress out about the cost. Use Ibotta and get cash back on all of your purchases when you stock up on all your summer essentials. And that's right. If you're taking that dream vacation this summer, but dreading the cost, not too worried. Don't sweat it. With Ibotta, you get cash back on all of your purchases, so you can spend more time making memories this summer and less time dreaming about them. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, or that flight you've been eyeing, and of course, that fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps, they give you points that don't amount to much, but with Ibotta, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, and even gift cards. You simply add the offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. So right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. It's totally risk-free. Just go to the App Store, Google Play, whatever you use, store, and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB. And don't forget, it's Ibotta, Ibotta, in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCKEDONMLB. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by eBay Motors. You know the combination. It's passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive, just like the Tigers kept the win alive today. Thank you, Kerry Carpenter. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. We're talking superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. So whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins, just like the Tigers did tonight. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Okay, now we tie a bow on it, and a lot of comments to get to. I apologize. I'm going to have to hire a producer like we used to have at the ticket. You know, that was one of my jobs at the ticket. You go through the ticket text. All right, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Here's a really mean one. Most of mine were always mean, like, get this guy off the radio. But my goodness, I appreciate everybody that has taken the time to write a comment. makes my night. And that's what this is all about. On Locked On Sports Detroit, we are a Detroit sports post-game community. That's why we call it the POSTCAST, because we are live on the air after each and every Tigers game. We got Lions games coming up, so I'll be on Saturday, Locked On Lions POSTCAST after they played the Chiefs. If you saw the video of Jamison Williams with that sick touchdown catch today in the back corner of the end zone, I cannot wait. And soon it will be that nice combination where we've got baseball and football. I love it. I love it. Fall is near. All right, let me get to more of these comments. I think Maritime Adam is up next. Bryan Simmons, Kerry Carpenter, Ty Holton get studs for me. Yeah, that's right. We got to bring back studs and duds. It's been too long. And that was always a classic segment. I would agree with that. No duds tonight. Well, there's a couple of guys, Gio Urshela. I mean, I had to go there, didn't I? We're having a great time and recapping a fun 3-2 walk-off win and to bring up Gio Urshela. But, hey, we wouldn't want to, block at bats or take development away from any of those young guys. And Gio Urshela 0 for 4 tonight. Bly Madriz, he had one hit at least. So there you go, Bly. Parker Meadows, tough night, 0 for 4, but he gets credit for scoring the game-winning run. We got to bring back studs and duds. That's on me. All right, Frodo T. Baggins, Mariners shove and still lose to the worst team in baseball. Okay, let's pump the brakes. We're not the worst team in baseball, but it is interesting. All of a sudden, that's just why baseball is such a marathon, because the Mariners led the AL West for the majority of the first half. Rangers and Astros were kind of nipping at their heels, and then the Astros just get hot. They've won, entering tonight, they had won 7 in a row, I believe, 6 or 7, whatever it is, and the Mariners now in a little bit of a funk, and all of a sudden the Astros are in control of the AL West. And, that's obviously subject to change, but baseball's a marathon, man. Yeah, Frodo says Mariners are cooked. All right, couple more. Rufus, the Motor City Kitty fan, he's a regular on Locked On Sports Detroit and the Locked On Tigers postcast. Was not expecting Baddoo to do something. Great surprise. Woo is scary. Yeah, that's been kind of and again, this isn't Locked On Mariners postcast, but that's kind of been their story. The pitching's been good, just not a lot of offense, which is something we as Tigers fans can relate to. I think it's a good way to put it. All right, on the bunter, Zinter here. I'm okay with the bunt there, just not with 2 strikes. It's also something guys work on so little, if any more at all. Yeah, that was always my grandfather's beef with it. It's just, if you're not good at it, you got to practice it. There's plenty of time to practice bunting. And if anybody's on TikTok or Instagram, there's a character, Nicky Cass, and he always imitates baseball coaches, and I think it's hilarious, but he's right in this case, where you get the baseball coach just chucking batting practice and, hey, we need to bunt, we need to practice bunting, good, and he's right. I mean, big league baseball players rarely, at least from my estimation as a kid, that was always so much fun going to batting practice and just being in awe of the guys hitting towering home runs, but you're not seeing guys practice a lot of bunting either. All right, and I know Mark is similar to me in that we have little things that set us off, and I think Zach McKinstry is one for him. So Mark says, great win. McKinstry's incompetence is mind-boggling. I don't think he's quite incompetent. He's not Javi Baez or before tonight, Akil Baddoo. But anyways, I appreciate everybody tuning in. My goodness, time just flies when you're having fun. And we'll answer this question to end it. Jordan Ramirez, I've got a 9-hour drive. When does the game start tomorrow? Just after 1, I think 1:10 technically. But tune on in, whether it be the radio or the telecast, and then give Locked On Sports Detroit and the Locked On Tigers postcast a listen after that. All right, let's continue the conversation tomorrow. 1:10 first pitch. Always a pleasure to be on the air with everybody. In summary, Kerry Carpenter is Kerry Bonds. Amazing. 3rd home run in 2 games. This one a 2-run shot that ties the game up, and then the Tigers go on to win with the Akil Baddoo walk-off. An awesome day from the pitching staff. Tyler Holton leading that bullpen. Bryan Salmons, everybody in that bullpen did a heck of a job and should be commended for their performance here tonight. All right. we leave you with the exciting notion that the Tigers are going for a sweep tomorrow, day game at Comerica Park. Everybody can skip work, school, whatever it may be. And we will talk to you then right after the final out is recorded, or it's like today, how about a walk-off? But always a pleasure. Thanks so much for tuning in. Check out the Locked On MLB podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley. Tremendous production there as well. And have a wonderful evening. Great show, Jake. Thank you, Adam. Much appreciated, my guy. Take care, everybody. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on the Locked On Tigers postcast. Tigers win it over the Seattle Mariners in walk-off fashion, 3-2. They go for the sweep tomorrow. Good night, everyone.